Hello and welcome to Picture This New Media. My name is Halal Ernie and today I will be reviewing The Rings of Power. And this will be episode 6 from season 1. And we've got a lot to talk about here in this one. I'm going to try to hurry it up as fast as possible because uh, pretty much uh, a lot happens uh, in this episode, but a lot of it doesn't really make sense, or it just doesn't pan out well for anybody. And a lot of things people do just don't make sense. It's really mind-boggling. Like, they could have done so many different things. Yeah, let's just get right into it. Alright, so we got the amazing intro. As always, I'll never talk crap about the intro. I really do like the intro. Um, and we get to pretty much Adar is uh, making a rousing speech, rallying his troops, so to say. And this is the first mention we get of female orcs. I don't know if we see one or if hey, look at that guy. If I don't know if we see them because it's really hard to tell, or if um, if he just mentions them as a passing, because he calls them brothers and sisters. I think in this part, um, but anyways, yeah, he calls them brothers and sisters, but all the time he's been calling them his children. So I don't know if that's a writing mistake or why the actor didn't even catch it. He's like, hey, I called these my children, and why should I be calling them my brothers and sisters? And another thing that somebody pointed out, yeah, they're wearing this skull stuff on their head, but where is their armor? Like, real armor? They're about to go into battle, and let's see here. See, brothers, but as brothers and sisters in our home. See, they're all cheering, but yeah, nobody's wearing any type of real armor. I mean, they got some leather type stuff, but look at those legs. Like, I never knew orcs' legs could look so stunning and brave. But they start chanting stuff that I don't understand because I'm not a Tolkien nerd. This says here, notions like the Brotherhood are unusual amongst the orcs, obviously, who are left to their own devices, often hate their own kind and divide into disparate groups. See, I wouldn't say that they hate their own kind. See, very, very bad trivia here. They hate their creator. That's what they hate. They hate and loathe the creator, but they fear them so much, whether it's Morgoth, Melkor, or Sauron that created them, according to Rings of Power. Adar apparently created them, but they despise them, and that's why Adar calls them his children for some weird reason, but then he calls them brothers and sisters. So yeah, it's just either a big hypocrisy or um, or bad writing. You're gonna hear that a lot in this review, that it's bad writing, because there's really no other way to describe this series. It's bad writing. So we cut to the tower, and we notice these little ropes and bindings and stuff. Um, Something's gonna happen to this tower, and you'll see how it only takes one kind of movement to set that up. So one thing here you'll notice is that there's only one way to this fortification, right? And if they were to have destroyed that bridge, they would have had ample time and opportunity to escape to that side, get help from this. You can't see where I'm pointing. Get help from this side, get escape to this area of the land, and it would have taken them about hundreds of miles to go around, or it would have taken them about maybe 4 days, 2 3 days, 3 to 4 days to make a temporary land bridge across, assuming that you don't interrupt them in the process, and you have a great opportunity to attack them from right here, having the high ground, which is going to be important later on in this episode, having the high ground and why it's important to have the high ground. A little tip from George Lucas there. So they leave the tower, they being the villagers, and it sets it up to where the orcs and Adar just walk in there like they own the place, and in a way they kind of do now. See, there's them going, there's them walking in, and then he says something to the effect of, like, they're all gone, Adar, what do we do? And he's like, they're not gone, I smell them. I smell the elf. And then he sees the sword and the mask that could either be Melkoth or Sauron. I keep getting Melkoth, or I'm even getting the name wrong. Melgor. See, I can't even say the name. Those two M's and Sauron's mask mixed up. So I don't know if that's Sauron or the two M guys. I'm gonna look that up real quick. Well, so I don't sound like an idiot. Melgoth or Morgoth, that's his name. Morgoth and Melkor. Yeah, Melkor and Morgoth. Alright, cool. Yeah, I don't know if that's Melkor or Morgoth or Sauron there, but yeah, there's the blade key. And yeah, this is where he says, I smell him. He asks about Sauron and he ignores them. And that's where he says, I smell him, meaning the orc. And when that happens, he starts firing on them. And then the most ridiculous thing happens here. I'm going to go back and forth so I don't get a DMCA thing. He shoots the arrow on fire, right? And he hits one arrow, or one rope, on that fortified building. All these bindings break off, which start ripping off the tower and breaking it into pieces and pieces and pieces. Now, just a question here. Is that bad elven work? Like, the elves built this tower, obviously, right? Was that bad elven work? Was that him setting up this fortification? And how long did that take? And how fast did he do it, and like, did he count on this happening on them? Like, this is very weird, and I don't understand how one rope could rip apart a tower like that, like with just one shot. It's so confusing. So it rips apart the tower. He runs to safety, and this tower is just getting decimated. He locks the orcs inside so they can't leave. And here goes the tower. And it's ripping apart, it's doing some craziness, and then somehow that destroys about most of the orcs that were going up here. Never mind, we still got all these ones right here and these ones right here, but you know, we can't all be geniuses like Arondir. So cut to this scene right here where everybody's in the ship, and then Isildur goes and just is a dick for some reason. I don't know why. He goes to this horse and he's eating an apple, right? And he literally shares an apple with this horse. Like, he feeds it to the horse, and then nom nom himself. Like, I don't know. That's a bit weird. I don't know. And then he doesn't finish the apple, and he throws it into the sea. The sea's always right, but I don't know. He could have just gave the rest of the apple to the horse. I don't know why he's being a dick and being a little, throwing a little weird hissy fit. That was really strange to me. Yeah, I did not get why that happened at all. Then Galadriel comes up to him and tries to drop some wisdom on him and talks about just humility, and because he asks him his rank and title, right? And he's like, I'm a stable boy, and then she says something about humility. It's the most cringeworthy dialogue that we got. Here. He asked, dang it. Well, I guess I missed the dialogue. I don't want to get an email saying where they're cutting my stream. So, he asked about her elf eyes, and so she kind of gloats about it. She's like, I've been seeing it for nearly an hour now. And cut to the scene where there's the cringy dialogue. This is where he says he's a stable sweep, and then she says, here, let me play it so where everybody can hear the cringe.
Stable sweep.
Despise not the labour which humbles the heart. Humility has saved entire kingdoms, the proud of all but led to ruin.
I think she's kind of self-reflecting there. And then she asked about his mom, and then he says she looks more like, or she asked him about who he is, and that who he is, and she's like, yeah, I figured you were his son, and you kind of look like him. And he says, well, everybody tells me I look like my mom. And yeah, then let's see here. And then it's interrupted by him finally seeing, daybreak, and then his creepy dad is just chilling in the back looking at all this happen.
Hold you up.
And Alan deal.
Captain.
And they don't act like father and son. He walks away. He says this long ass winded speech when Galadriel asks about her mother. He says all this rambling stuff.
We're sailing into the dawn.
And then he says this.
She drowned.
So like we didn't really need all that stuff. We could have just had a little bit of the story, and or I don't want to talk about it, but the gist of it is she drowned, and they could have worked out something different than all that speech and then him saying she drowned. It was really kind of takes away from the scene. It makes it not serious. Then we get a Lord of the Rings moment here where they're copying it exactly, where a hammer even breaks. Well, he's trying to smash this sword hilt. We'll go through that scene. See, he goes and smashes it. Even Bronwyn comes over and is like, "What the hell are you doing, you idiot?" And this was really pointless scene, really stupid. And then he says, "I'm gonna hide it, and no one must know." And of course, he heard. So what do you think's gonna happen? He's gonna he's gonna hide it in a stupid place, and Theo's gonna find it at the right moment. Spoiler alert. And then we get another rousing speech. All these scenes are pointless. And then Theo asked his mom to comfort him with things that he used to say when he was a child, when he would get scared or something like that, something silly. When you will hold me in the dark.
Would you say it to me now?
Oh, how cute.
And high beauty. This shadow is but a small and
In
passing.
the end, the shadow is small but a passing thing.
There is light and high beauty.
There is light and high beauty, just a bunch of blah 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 fairy tale stuff. Farewell, Mom. Farewell, Mother. Very, very cute. And then she sends him away in the tavern with the sick and the women and the injured. Then we get this forced love scene where the chemistry we saw them have in the past episodes just disappear. In this episode, their love for each other that was kind of more apparent in the past 5 episodes, just gone. They don't love each other anymore, and this scene, this kiss, feels so forced. He does the thing where they're planting seeds. Oh, I forgot to mention, Adar was planting seeds in the beginning of the episode, and now he's planting seeds. It's an elf thing. They plant seeds before war, and this is that forced love scene. So they escape that fortified position to go to this position. Now remember what I said about the high ground and having the high ground as the advantage. They say they have the advantage. In that speech previously, he says that they have an advantage. This is the advantage they have. They have one bridge that they could step over, that people could step over it. Right here, the lake's not even there. They could walk through that. There really is no defenses. They have all the orcs have all this area where they can rain down hell arrows from. In the business, we call this foreshadowing. And we have this stuff where all this trees where they can hide, and nothing really but rock walls and roofs made of straw, flammable. So that's the advantage they have. So the orcs show up, and when they have their torches again, and we can hear them coming with the power of music. It's like a early 2000s horror show. Ding 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 ding. It's really bad. I just realized my sound was low. So yeah, you could hear the music in there. You can see, oh, there comes the orcs lighting their way, making their presence known, because war isn't blind with surprise attacks or anything, especially back before radar was invented. So they have this weird setup, and as the orcs are coming into town, going over that one bridge for some weird reason in that choke point, Bronwyn is having trouble lighting up a cart. Not a vape cart, but this cart that she's gonna set on fire and shove towards them. So she's having trouble, right? She's not getting it done. Not gonna say anything bad there, but she's just not getting it done. Her and her other female friend is just sitting there looking at the orcs come, and would you look at that? One of the orcs found them. Surprise, surprise. So instead of Bronwyn, doing a quick kill where he doesn't scream, he doesn't fight back, she stabs him in the toe. Here, we'll get to it. Look at that, he found her. So she stabs him in the oh look, she even had a surprise attack. She stabs him in the toe, swings, and then gets her friend killed. That's women empowerment to you. And yeah. Of course, she fights back against the sword fight and wins. She uses his torch to set the cart on fire, and then lo and behold, traps orcs in this ridiculous wall of flames. And look at that. There's this part's not on fire, this part's not on fire, yet they are trapped. This is so silly. So silly. And whenever I had the watch party during this part, later on, I was having troubles buffering and everything like that, so I missed a lot of these parts, and when I rewatched it, I really didn't miss anything. I really didn't. I missed maybe a couple of flips by Arendir, but that's it. So they started attacking with arrows, and Arendir has a really fancy way of drawing his bow. I'm not gonna. I kind of like it. Other people don't. I don't think it's very masculine, and I think this is why they're shipping Legolas and Arendir together, because of they have a battering ram now for some weird reason. I don't know why. These doors can be kicked open with the power of their feet. they finally realize that, you know, they could push the carts out of the way and they'll be fine. And the villagers start going ham. And this orc over here, I don't know what he was thinking, but he he gets him off the roof by slinging him himself off the roof with Erendir. That was big brain idea there. Then he gets into a fight with a big huge orc, which is reminiscent of the Uruk in Lord of the Rings, and we have this silly fight. And he gets injured, the big orc, and then he pulls the stake out of his eye, and I don't want to show that in case YouTube gets mad at me. And he does this menacing thing where he drips his blood on his face. He could have closed his mouth the whole time. He could have moved to the left. He could have moved to the right. He could have kicked him in the nuts. He could have punched him. He could have done so many things. But for the dramatic effect, we get this. It looks weird without noise. I don't think the noise helps. And of course, Bronwyn saves the day just in the nick of time. Go girl boss. But then everybody's cheering. They won this little battle, even though there's more orcs. And then Erendir gets a funny feeling. He sees that there's actually, you notice the orc blood is black. He sees that there's red blood, and he goes, "Oh my gurg, these are the villagers we just killed." And I don't know why they're sad about it. They're traitors, and they just tried to kill them. So they're sad for no reason, which gets them distracted enough to start getting arrowed upon. We were fighting our own. They had to pay the toll. The blood toll. Yeah, silly. And look at. Oh, remember that place I said that that had a hiding spot, like the trees? Oh my God, the orcs used it. You know, having the high ground. And the villagers start getting got. And then the villagers start standing there like they're not getting arrowed. And Bronwyn gets an arrow to the back, but I'll show you this part, because they're saying, he says everyone to the keep, and the keep, I guess, is to him is the tavern, and everybody else clarifies it and says the tavern, the tavern. The keep. Into the tavern. Okay, wait. I missed the spot. So Bronwyn gets hit once, twice, right? But whenever Erendir goes to carry her, she only has the one. The one arrow to rule them all. She got hit twice, we just saw it, but she has one arrow in her. So, okay. They go into the keep, tavern, and the orcs start rummaging through everything, I guess. I don't know, but it gives them enough time to have this really long, drawn out, quote unquote, death scene. Um, there's other people injured, but everybody's sad about her. They start taking the arrow out, and there's so much blood. There's so much blood. Like, if she had lost that amount of blood in real life, she'd be dead. Like, straight up dead or needing a blood transfusion. So, she gets the seeds, and they rub it in some of her blood and put it in her wounds, and then they're going to cauterize it, not with a hot iron poker, but with a wooden stick. A wooden stick that's charred at the end. And it makes her pass out, flesh burning, and everybody's like, Mom, Mom, don't die. She passes out. There's blood everywhere. Wake up, Mom, wake up. Wake up. And you know, Rings of Power isn't gonna be brave, isn't gonna be stunning. They're gonna not kill off any of their main characters. And this is my prediction. They're not gonna kill off any of their main characters. If they get a season 2, they're not gonna kill off any of the main characters until season 2, if they even do. And yeah, lo and behold, she survives that large amount of blood loss, and nobody's surprised she survives, except for him. And so they don't even use the battering ram, I think. Oh, they do? Yeah. They use the battering ram, and just in time, look at there's. Oh yeah, just to let you guys know. So you see, this is dark day, nighttime, and this is dusk. The sun's just coming out. Never mind that. I don't know if the Earth is round yet, so I'm not sure if that whole thing works scientifically this way in the Tolkien world yet. So I'm not sure how accurate this representation would be in time zones, but yeah. They even changed Lord of the Rings of Power. Even changed the maps, Tolkien's maps, hand-drawn maps. So I don't even know what to say about the time zones. But yeah, here's daytime, dusk time, you know, dawn time, and they're riding in their 3D printed armor horses, and this looks like Karen hair coming out of a helmet. Yeah, this is very, very awkward. She's at least she's not smiling this time when she's riding the horse. That's cool. So they're trying to protect the one door, and the orcs come in, and then they start threatening everybody. They're like, give me the sword. Adar comes in, and the orcs act really weird around him. They start bowing, cowering. It's really weird. I don't like that they're making the orcs like a worshipping him type of feeling. It's really silly. They're not religious. So he's like, give it to me, talking about the sword hilts. And then,
for such a little thing.
so the orcs start going ham, which I like. He gives away, he's like, leave the villagers alone, blah 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 blah. And he's like, oh, you care about the villagers? Okay. And he starts killing off the villagers one by one, which is really exciting, and it's only exciting because there's tension now. There's a sense of risk. For the first time in 6 episodes, there's actually risks now.
Why sacrifice their lives for such a little thing?
And he makes a really good point here. Makes a really, really good point here. And Erendir throws a temper tantrum, like a little kid. Yeah, that's how you respond to the people you care about dying. So they threaten Bronwyn, and of course Theo saves the day, tells them where it is, and lo and behold, it's in a stupid place, in the tavern. And what does Adar do? This is very important. Very, very important. What does Adar do when he gets it? He checks to see if it's really it. Wow. That only took 3 to 4 seconds. Right? Remember that. Now, all of a sudden, after that little horrific scene, well done scene, for the most part, it's daytime. In just 4 minutes, it is completely dawn now in this part of the world. And he has a task for him, and we don't figure out what it is till later. And then, the cavalry is here. The cavalry is here. Galadriel shows us Morfydd Clark shows us her side-saddling tricks she learned whenever she got a pony when she was a little girl. She learned all her tricks, and now this is her moment to shine. And of course, everybody's been talking about this one scene where she flips upside down. Everybody starts going ham on each other. There's some really bad makeup right there on the orcs. You could see the human skin. Where is that one shot? Theo starts fighting. There's some growls. They do this trick where they have chains, and it wouldn't. So they're holding it in their hands, and that's a lot of people, and it wouldn't have worked. Look at that guy's really big. It wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't have worked. Those guys would have fell off. And now if it was like attached to wood or nailed in, then maybe. I'm just checking to make sure that I get the your stream has been cut video email. And then I really want to find that one. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'm not making this fun for anybody watching. the guy's broom hat, that was Isidro's dad. I forget his name right now. And then here comes Morfydd Clark on her horse, and whenever she was riding the horse, I swear to God, I thought she got shot by an arrow when she did the upside down trick and sliced the orc's head off. Right here. Right there, I thought she got shot and hit when I first saw it, and I didn't know it was Galadriel. I thought just some random person got shot, hit, and was like blah, 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 on the horse. And then right whenever I saw the camera was concentrating right here, I figured out that it was supposed to be Galadriel. And look how far away they are. Look how far away they are. And I know everybody's mentioned this. But you're not gonna have the strength to cut somebody's head off in that position. You're not gonna have the strength to do that. And this orc exploded, like he just exploded. I sure we'll go with that. And more of the scene is ridiculous. He's having fun. He's tearing orcs apart. He's having a good old time of it. His friend isn't though, and he's getting smashed left and right. He doesn't like it. Isildur's like, "Come on, mommy, let me go fight. And she's like, "Fine, I guess stable boys get full armor and a horse and get to not fight in the fights now." And he comes just in time to kind of reproduce the scene of what happened in the Lord of the Rings, the first movie, where he saves not saves his dad, but he comes to his dad's rescue or revenge, and Mr. Broomhead falls off, having trouble fighting these orcs. Never mind, these people have never been to battle. These people, the Lord of the Rings people, or Rings of Power people, Numenorians, they've never been to battle before. In the Lord of the Rings books, they are already trading with Middle Earth and had settlements, but these Numenorians never traveled to Middle Earth, and this is their first basically battle in a long time. In a very long time. But they're slaughtering these orcs like they've been doing it for years. And he comes, and then Halbrand and Sauron, oh yeah, see, this is the rescue scene. He's coming to rescue his dad, but Halbrand basically steals his kill. He gets cucked. Isildur gets cucked, and then he's like, "I'm alright." And Galadriel asks where the leader is, and Arondir's like, "Get Adar. He's got something that he's not supposed to leave with." And so a big chase scene comes, and this chase scene, if the music wasn't there, the chase scene would be boring. And she does more of her little pony tricks, and this is a really cringy thing right here. Theo's like in awe and amazement over Galadriel, even though she's not shining, she's not shimmery, she's not really radiant here. She's not really glowy, she's not really amazeballs here. She's just a blonde chick riding a horse, and Theo's looking at her like he's seeing like the face of God.
Who is that?
Whee!
Commander of the Northern Armies. Galadriel.
And then he calls her Galathiel. He calls her Galathiel. So this boring ass chase scene goes on for a minute, and they were chasing each other for a minute. Halbrand sees them and follows after them like this, right? Follows after them, and I'll tell you about the music, right? Now just picture that if that was without music and just the horses click clacketing. Here, I'll give you a little taste. Click clack, 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 click clack. I'm off the edge of my seat. I'm off the edge of my seat here. And yeah, Halbrand comes out of nowhere, right? From this side even. So he would have had to chase them, gone around, and then go wee to meet him. That horse is either really fast or he's Sauron and can teleport. And then he does this. He cooks Galadriel out of her kill now too. So, and just to let you guys know, the horse is okay. The director wanted to let you know too. Yeah. It looks like Adar kind of really kind of knows who he is. Teases at it. Halbrand definitely knows who he is, and he's like, you don't know what he's done, and he's gonna kill him, and then Galadriel stops him, and I need him alive. Remember that. And Adar quite beautifully does this victim thing where he's teasing Halbrand. He's like, did I cause someone you love pain? Maybe a wife, maybe your kids. And you know, it's pretty good. She says this stupid ass dialogue about quenching your thirst with seawater or something like that, and yeah, it's pretty silly. His friend basically is like, yeah, I'm just gonna help with the rebuilding. I'm done with battling, and he's like, I want to keep battling. It was silly. Morgoth, yep. When I was a child, I heard stories of elves taking over Morgoth. So they start talking about the first creations, and she realized that he's one of those first orcs, and he's like, we prefer Uruk. And then she disrespects his pronoun choice, and she asks, where's Sauron? And he doesn't say anything, and he says like, I'm gonna torture your orcs, basically. And right, isn't that where she says that? Yeah. Perhaps we should bring our prisoners out into the sunlight. So she's like pretty much saying she's gonna torture his orcs, his children. So he starts talking, and he's like, Sauron devoted himself to healing Middle Earth. Now, whether he meant healing as an allegory for like Sauron's version of healing, or if he actually was saying that Sauron was trying to do something good. And right here it humanizes the orcs a little bit too much. They're supposed to be bloodthirsty, murderous lunatics controlled by a greater power, but right here it seems that they're trying to find their own land, to call themselves free from being controlled by Sauron and free from being discriminated by everybody else. So it's a little weird and a little contrived that they would actually do this. humanize orcs a little bit. It's awkward. And so basically, I forget. A lot of experiments were going wrong. Orcs weren't turning out the way he was pretty much tired of being his children being used as a pawn for Sauron's aspirations, as he so elegantly puts it, and takes his orcs and bounces, right? And then he says he killed Sauron. He's like, I don't believe you. And she's like, well, neither does anybody, you know. How is this guy gonna kill Sauron? And she starts teasing him, basically. And he basically says orcs are worthy of life and they need a home. You just need to understand us. And then she does this really evil thing where she says this really racist and not understanding. This is supposed to be the person that you care about. This is supposed to be the hero of the story. This is supposed to be Galadriel, the smart thinker, the person that can look into your soul, the one who's a telepath even. And she says this.
Made in mockery.
You were a mistake, made in
And yet,
mockery.
if it takes me all of this age, I vow to eradicate every last one of you.
Genocide.
But you shall be kept alive, so that one day, before I drive my dagger into your poisoned heart.
Yeah, she says basically she's gonna kill every one of his creations, all the orcs of Middle Earth, and she's gonna do this when he dies, in the moment of his death.
I will whisper in your pikered ear that all your offspring are dead, and the scourge of your kind ends with you.
That's our hero, everybody. That's who Rings of Power wants you to think is our hero. That's who Rings of Power wants you to think is Galadriel. This bloodthirsty maniac, bent on revenge and bent on genocide now. Genocide. Torturing an elf to his face. Orc. Uruk. And then he points out something very telling, and pretty much what every Tolkien fan has been saying about this version of Galadriel.
It would seem I'm not the only elf alive who's being transformed by darkness.
Booyah, mic drop. Mic drop. I loved it. I'm here for it. I like Adar more than Galadriel in this show, and that's not what they're supposed to be doing here. It's not what they're supposed to be doing. So she gets pissed at that and says, I'm gonna kill you. Calls him out of his pronoun, orc, you slavering orc, and then she corrects him, uruk. And just to be a bia, she cuts his throat anyways after Halbrand says not to. So there's this little nick. And she leaves him. And he teases Sauron a little bit. I meant Halbrand a little bit more here. There's this little nick. See, oh. Sauron. And he doesn't answer. And Sarladriel, I meant Haladriel or Galbrand, whatever they want to do, has their little lovey-dovey moment, and you can tell that there's no chemistry.
Thank you
Even though she's supposed to be
for pulling me back.
at a point of humility here and being like, thank you for pulling me back and all that craziness. You could tell this is forced.
Whatever it was he did to you.
She tells
Whatever
them,
it was you did.
I don't care what you guys did to
Be
each
free of
other,
it.
to be free of it, even though she's vowing everything she's doing for revenge. Another hypocrisy. And then the forced dialogue of her says, fighting at your side. Even though they weren't fighting together technically, he said, fighting at your side. I felt, yeah, I could just hold on to that feeling. And then she basically says, samesies. And no emotion, no lovey-dovey, no chemistry, but we're supposed to think that this was a lovey-dovey moment. So there you have it. There's the hilt, right? Which nobody has checked at this point. What was the first thing Adar did? Check. What was the first thing they did? Talk to each other about their feelings. She's walking around even though she lost about a gallon's worth of blood. She meets up with Queen Regent Muriel, and she's like, you don't need to be leader anymore. We brought a real leader. And she's like, thanks, I sucked anyways. And they're like, are you really him? And he's like, eh.
Yes.
Like, what if he had said no? Or what if he said, maybe, I'm not feeling it yet. We'll see in about a couple of weeks. That would have took all the air out of the room. And then, again with the drinks, everybody have drinks. Even though most of these people like died in battle. She gives the hilt to him. He goes and sees
Do not torment yourself.
homie over here by himself, and he's basically saying that the sword made me feel powerful and I miss it and I want it back. Paraphrasing here.
Felt powerful.
Not really then. And so he gives the unchecked hilt to him and says, I know you're addicted to this. I know this is your vice, but, you know, throw it into the sea with the Numenorians. Even though I don't know why he would be going on a boat ride with the Numenorians. Like, huh? What? Okay. He checks his arm, he feels like that, and then he's like, this doesn't feel right. And lo and behold, it's not the sword hilt. It doesn't even like look like it could feel like the sword hilt. So, and so homie over here is sharing the needle, and would you look at that? It's a key of sorts. And this key, see there's this river right here. This key moves a stone, right? There's another stone before this. Moves a stone, this thing's released. And all the water from this dam is bursted. Now, what was the what would be the original purpose of this if the orcs didn't dig all those trenches? What would be the purpose of this? Why would they have this key sword thing to move one block to flood what? What was the original purpose of this? Because they had to dig all these trenches in order to get what we're gonna get. He goes down to listen to the water running through his tunnels and his trenches, and it's going. Everybody's like, holy crap, what's going on? And apparently all those ditches and everything and trenches led to Mount Doom. And apparently to have an explosion like this, I'm not being nitpicky here, there has to be a closure of the volcano, so it would have to have been pressurized in order for an explosion of this magnitude to take place. But you know, water, just add water, that'll work too, right? And we get this we get this explosion, and there is terror. Everybody's running for cover. Even Muriel's running for cover, and Galadriel is just sitting there, just standing there, looking at it. That is the most fake I'm scared face I've ever seen. This is all like theater production fear. Nobody looks scared. He looks like he's on a light jog, and Galadriel's like, I eat fire. Here she goes. She's gonna even close her eyes. Nom 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 nom. And that's it. That's the episode. Now, I am going to give this episode I'll give it a 4 out of 10 because they actually moved something along. Adar's character building has been really good. I really like the way they do Adar. Everything else has been complete and utter garbage. And yeah, there's really no saving this. There really isn't saving this anymore. Season 2 would have to be Game of Thrones, House of Dragons level good in order to even kind of get even to what we have saw so far. And yeah, it's gonna take a lot of rewriting to get this to where everybody's gonna accept it, and they're gonna need to do a lot. But I honestly don't think that there's saving this, and a lot of Tolkien nerds, unlike me who's a normie, will agree that there's no saving this at all. So yeah. Michael Damaraki, I appreciate your comment. I'm so sorry that I wasn't reading along with you. But I hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Salam alaikum, and have a